What's up guys? Welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh video. Today's video we've got a couple of collection buys to go through. First of all, there's a big collection of promos that I bought. So like old 2002, 2004 mostly, video game promos, all that kind of stuff. And then we've got a smaller collection that I bought with some higher end cards in it. So we'll jump straight into that one first. Now, I got talking to the seller of this collection mostly because of the first card, which is this faded wavy Guy the Fierce Knight from LOB. I saw that he had this card for sale, thought it looked pretty awesome, messaged him, turned out to be in mint condition, so I made a deal with him on that. And then after I'd already bought this card, he told me he had some other cards, so I said, all right, cool, let's have a look what you have. And he actually ended up having a complete near mint to mint set of Starter Deck Kaiba and Yugi first edition. So that's pretty insane. All of these are actually gradable. I think the Blue Eyes is probably a 9, but could get a 10 on a good day. And the Dark Magician, honestly, is 10 quality in terms of the condition. It is a bit shifted top to bottom, so that could knock it to a 9. But I think that one has a great chance of a gem overall. So that's pretty awesome. And the story behind these cards is that he actually bought them all in March or April of 2002. Right when the game came out, and he had a look at them, started playing with them a bit, and didn't really enjoy the game. So he just put them straight back into his closet, and they stayed there for a whole 20 years until he took them out this year. So pretty cool story. Definitely believable the way he said it, because he doesn't have anything beyond, the latest card he had was this Unlimited Karibo from Metal Raiders. And another cool part of this collection is that the guy I was speaking to, obviously he was the guy who actually pulled them all himself back in 2002. He actually remembers pulling the faded Gaia and having the thought process of the time of just thinking, like, what is going on here? Why are the colors so different to how they would normally be on all of the other monsters I have? And obviously back then he didn't know the answer. I kind of explained a bit to him about faded cards and stuff when I was buying them off him, so he knows better now. But it's very cool to have that full provenance of a faded card all the way back to when it was pulled. Because it's pretty rare to be able to find someone who actually pulled one of these themselves back in the day. Just because it's natural that over a course of 20 years, most cards are going to change hands a few times before you get the chance to buy them now. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this collection. The last card he had for me was a LOB First Edition Fisher. I think he had some other First Edition LOB as well, but he already sold that to his LGS before I even got in contact with him. So I don't know what cards he had exactly, but I wasn't able to buy any of those. And then he did also include all of the commons from Starter Deck Kaiba and Yugi. Now, I haven't changed the sleeves on these yet. So all of the cards came in these old sleeves from 2002. The high-end cards, I switched them out into nice, fresh, soft sleeves because I didn't like handling the dusty old sleeves. But you guys can see, if we flip this onto the side, just that sheer level of age that these sleeves have from sitting in a closet for 20 years. That should be clear, see-through plastic all the way down. And it's pretty much just like a grimy yellow. So they're pretty nasty to hold. I'm definitely going to switch out the sleeves after making this video. But yeah, we'll flick through them quickly anyway. So this is a full set of the commons from Starter Deck Kaiba and Starter Deck Yugi. All first edition North American English. A lot of awesome nostalgia. And there will be a lot of nostalgia in the other collection as well, because video game promos, for me especially, are some of the most nostalgic cards in the game. Most of them have pretty high print runs, but they're just awesome to look at. And I don't know exactly why, but a lot of the sleeves in this stack of commons here actually seem to have a lot of play on them, but the cards are completely unplayed. So I assume maybe the guy back in 2002 actually couldn't find any fresh packs of sleeves to buy, which they were a lot harder to come by back then than they are nowadays. So he used kind of like secondhand sleeves, despite the fact that he was sleeving completely packed fresh cards. So even where there's all of this damage on the sleeve, at least the cards I've taken out of the sleeve to inspect, they look 100% deck fresh condition. And yeah, that's it for SDK. And then SDY has a lot of the same commons as well, so we don't really need to go through that slowly. But yeah, lots of awesome cards, a lot of nostalgia. And honestly, a decent amount of value in the commons as well when you consider the graded value. I'm probably not going to grade most of these, but if there were a few centered ones of the cooler commons from each deck, then once PSA eventually opens up that $20 tier, it's for sure worth sending off commons that are gradable. because I think a PSA 10 of an STK common, especially the better ones, that can easily be over $100. And with commons, you got a much better chance of actually finding a card that is truly just undoubtedly gem mint quality and will get a 10 nearly every time, compared to holos, which just tend to have much worse print quality, especially from STK and STY, to be honest. I've pretty much never seen a PSA 10 STK Blue Eyes that looked like it deserved the grade. Alright, so that's it for the first collection that I bought. I think at the back of here... Oh yeah, that's right. I picked up a gold letter reverse Geyer as well. Nothing too crazy. These are a bit more expensive now than they used to be, but overall they're still fairly cheap, all things considered. They're not that rare compared to the gold letter Trihorn Dragon, which is insanely rare and easily worth over $1,000 now, even in plate condition. So next up, we'll go into the collection of promos. Now these are actually from the same seller. If you guys remember the huge Mailday of complete sets that I posted maybe 6 months ago now, 5-6 months ago. This is the same seller. So first of all, I bought all of her first edition complete old school sets. And then this time around, I bought all of her promos. And she still has some other cool stuff, which I'm sure I'll be able to work a deal with her out on. And I'll put that in a future Mailday. But yeah, for now, we've got all of the promos to go through. So starting out with the tin promos, a lot of these are not minty. The later stuff I'm going to show generally is minty, but the BPT, there's a lot of BPT, but most of this is like LP, MP at best, if not even HP. So this is just stuff I'm going to sell raw. I'll definitely be having a sale over on my sales page on Instagram. If anyone's interested, just head over there in a few days, or maybe even tomorrow if I get the time. And by the way, even though I'm going to be selling most of these cards, I'd appreciate it if you guys don't actually message me about individual, like, single cards you want to buy. Because nowadays, whenever I post a sale, I get like a ton of DMs saying, oh, would you sell this or that? And it's just a lot easier for me to price them all, post them all for sale, and then whoever claims them gets the cards. That's the fairest way of doing it. So that's it for BPT. Now for CT1, there's a whole bunch of CT1 here. First of all, we have 3 of the super rare foiling misprints. So secret rare title, like another tin promo, but they all have super rare foil. It's not a rare error, to be honest, but it is cool. I think I'm still missing a couple for the full set, but I already actually had all of these, so that's kind of unfortunate that the seller didn't have the ones that I needed. But yeah, still always cool to see. And then we have a whole bunch of the regular secret rare CT1. Again, some of these are near mint, but most of them, at least from what I could quickly see, just having a glance over after the package arrived, definitely have some kind of wear or damage somewhere or other. That's the end of CT1, and then I think the rest is CT02, CT03, and CT04, but this is just one of each card. And these are all near mint, so that's pretty cool. Oh, okay, we still got some extras on the Cyber Dragon. This seller who I got this stuff from in general just had an absolutely huge collection. She even sold a lot of stuff before I got talking to her, so I assume she had even more multiples of most of these promos than what you see here. And she had like other higher end promos as well, which unfortunately she already sold before I ever got talking to her. So if we go to the video game promos next, which are probably my favorite cards in this Mailday. They're roughly in chronological order, so DDS is the first set of promos released. And she used to have the DDS 001, 002, 003, like the Blue Eyes and stuff as well. But yeah, she sold that before I got around to talking to her. That's alright. Nothing you can do about that sometimes. I'm still very grateful that I was able to work out a deal on all of these other cards, because there's a lot of awesome stuff in here. So yeah, these are all of the prismatic promos. Again, like pretty mixed conditions. There's a lot of extras, ton of the Magnet Warriors. I do plan to grade some of these. Even though they're easy to grade, they're not exactly valuable as 10s. They're just pretty cool to have. Here's one of the harder ones to grade, Winged Dragon of Ra from DoD. I think we have a JMP Obelisk as well, somewhere else in the collection, but there's no YMA Slifer, unfortunately. EDS, another super nostalgic set of promos. Always love the 2 dice cards, just the artwork, the foiling, very, very simple, but kind of symbolic of old school Yu-Gi-Oh, I guess, as a whole. I'm not really sure how I ever owned all these promos, because I remember having all these as a kid, but I guess I must have traded for them or something, because I definitely did not buy like all of the video games. I remember I had the World Championship 2004. I think I had the Stairway to the Destined Duel as well. But yeah, most of the games had kind of similar gameplay to each other, so once you played a couple of them, it wasn't really worth buying the rest, other than to get the promos. Well, that Metalzo there is super beat up. Like I said, the condition is definitely mixed on these. I thought like the seller wanted to get rid of them all in one go because it's a lot of effort, like listing these all on TCG Player or whatever else she was going to do to get rid of them. So she kind of gave me a deal in return for actually buying them all. So even though there's a lot of stuff here which I have absolutely zero need for, like the plate TFK and stuff like that, I was happy to make a deal with her, buy the whole thing in return for getting that kind of discount. So here's one of the bigger cards. This is a PCK Blue Eyes. From what I could see, this one is pretty minty. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't taken the cards out of the sleeves yet because I literally just got them in the mail today. But yeah, lots of awesome stuff. There's the PCJ Red Eyes. Sadly, there's no prismatic of the original art for Red Eyes, but the PCJ still looks pretty cool in my opinion. And that is the end of the prismatic promos. And then we got a few of the later ones, which are just super rares and occasionally ultra. They still carried on using the OCG cardstock for these even after the prismatic promos. So all of these promos are printed in Japan until somewhere around the end of GX. I think we'll actually get there in a second here. So here's GX 1, 2, 3, GX 4, and then, yeah, so after GX 4, these are GX 5. I don't know how obvious this will be on camera, but if we take out this Chaos Burst and put it next to the GX 5 promo, you guys can probably see there's a big difference in the cardstock. So the Chaos Burst is printed in Japan, and it has that kind of high gloss OCG finish to it, whereas the Chaos Burst is printed in, the Dark Cure is printed in America, and it doesn't have any of that gloss. Same for the back as well. Super glossy on the Japanese printed one, and then pretty low gloss on the one that's printed in the US. So I'm not sure why that happened, that they switched it after like 2006, 2007, whenever that was. But yeah, eventually they did change the production to the US. And these promos, the later ones, they carried on printing them in Japan, but actually only for Europe. So when you get the ultra rare NA promos like Warm Worm and stuff like that, the super rare version for Europe, most of those are actually made in Japan, while the NA ones are made in the US. So it's a big mess for the later promos. But we're not really going to get into those anyway in this video, because this finishes with, I think that's probably the latest set of promos, WC07. So yeah, we don't have any of the later ultras and stuff like that to go through. Alright, so there's still a bunch of different promos. Next we'll look at these McDonald pack. Again, there's some extras. That Cosmo Queen looks pretty rough. I love these as well. Super nostalgic artwork. Frog the Jam, which for a long time I didn't even know what this card looked like. But I just always remember reading the frog cards from like GX, which have effects regarding other frog monsters because it became an archetype. But they always said like applies to all frog cards except Frog the Jam. So this card was like a myth to me for a long time until I eventually got the MP1 version. So that is getting towards the end of MP1. Yep, that's the end. And then we have MP2 as well. These are all the authentic Goldeye versions. Obviously, quite a few of these cards, like the Electra, Mudbowl Man, Flute of Summoning Karibo, they have the Upper Deck counterfeit versions as well. And then the later K prints, like the corrected one, which has a K on the end of the card code. But these are nothing fancy. These are just the original, authentic MDP2 cards. And one thing that's cool about this, which I was looking for a long time, and I never found anyone actually selling it, because it's the kind of thing you just throw away if you actually get it in a pack. But this includes one of the checklist cards, which you get in every single pack of MDP2. And I just wanted one of these because I already have a full set of MDP2 in my binder, but the binder is like 9 pocket pages, so you kind of makes sense to have a multiple of 3 for a set. So 20 cards doesn't quite fit into the binder. It leaves an extra slot, so I was looking for one of these to just fill that slot, and I finally have it, so that's cool. And okay, we have Premium Pack 1 as well, but these are just the low rarity ones. So all of the final cards are just super rares, which I think even nowadays these are more or less just bulk foils, but still some nostalgia there. There was a lot of Premium Pack available at my local store after it came out, so I had a bunch of those back in the day. All right, next up is, again, a pretty cool set of promos I was able to buy. This is something I've never owned before, at least the majority of the cards, and that's Hobby League. So this is a complete set, minus maybe a couple of the later ones of the Hobby League promos. So the first season is just like normal commons and super rares, nothing too crazy. But then after that, these are all prismatic ultra rares, ultra parallel, whatever you want to call it. And they're pretty minty as well, from what I can see. The way they're made, the front feels really, really strange because it has like this thick layer of plastic, which you don't normally get on a Yu-Gi-Oh card. And I think for the same reason, they're not actually playable. I believe that's accurate because they're so thick that they are quite easy to tell apart from a regular Yu-Gi-Oh card, even when they're in a sleeve and everything like that. Just a very different feel. And they warp very easily as well. So these ones are actually pretty nice. They're not super warped, but I've had some in the past come in with collections where they're literally just like Pringles. They're just way curved over on the side. So I assume that's another reason they're not playable, because if the card is warped like that, then again, like if your deck's face down, you can still see that the cards are bent. One sec, I think I just knocked the camera a bit. All right, there we go. So yeah, a lot of cool cards here. I'm not very familiar with them because, like I said, I've never owned the majority before. But they're definitely very cool cards. The way the prismatic foil pops on ultra rares, I think it looks a little bit strange sometimes. It's almost a bit too much because you've got all of the foil already and then like the prismatic lines on top of it. But it's definitely unique. It's like something you don't find anywhere else in the TCG especially. So yeah, I think they have their own place in Yu-Gi-Oh history. Definitely a cool set of promos. And that is the end of those. There might be a few missing, again, like I said. I'm pretty sure the seller said there were maybe 3 or 4 that she didn't have. But yeah, that's Hobby League. Now this is Mailday figurine promos, but don't worry guys, we don't have any of the crazy ones. There's no Cyber Dragon in here or anything like that. Just the MFO1 and MFO2. Which I still think they look cool. I actually prefer the parallel foiling across the whole card when it's just a common or a rare to when it's a holo, because it doesn't look quite as like crazy over the top when you don't have the foil on the card as well as the prismatic foiling. So that's those, and then this is Duelist League now, so another kind of related thing to Hobby League, I guess. Again, a lot of extras for these. Most of these are very, very cheap. There's the Machine King, which has the white text, which I assume that's just a mistake, because obviously effect monsters normally have black text for the name if they're not stamped, whereas these, for some reason, have the white lettering, as if they're spell cards or something like that. But yeah, most of these are still, I think, very low value. The only cool one is right at the back. There's Last Day of Witch, and then Breath of Light. I was surprised when I was working out prices with the seller. I haven't looked at the prices on one of these for a long time, probably like 3-4 years, because It's a pretty scarce promo. It's not really something you come across very often unless you're actually looking for it. But these are over $100 near mint now. So that's pretty crazy. This one I think can grade a 10, so I may actually grade that considering the moral value is so high. All right, then next, okay, we can quickly go through this. These are like the cards you get in every single collection, exclusive pack 1. So I think even the sealed packs and boxes of these are still really cheap, but yeah, we just got a bunch of the bulk from that. You get every single card in each pack of exclusive pack, so it's pretty much the most boring booster pack to open in the world because you know every single card you're going to get before you even start opening it. But it's still something which I think everyone had as a kid, right? So there's a lot of nostalgia, even if there's pretty much zero value. Next stack, this is Jump promos. So I think this is every single one up to about number 25. And these are all like absolutely fresh from the magazine pretty much, so that's really cool. A lot of them can grade 10s. I think the Obelisk has a chance for a 10. Blue Eyes Ultimate has a chance for a 10. And even though these cards aren't worth a lot raw, if you can grade them as 10s, the markup is often pretty big because they have a lot of issues from being packaged in the magazine and the way they're also sealed in those little plastic packs. If they're kept like that for a long time, it often makes marks on the back of the cards, so they're not gradable even if you open up a magazine and open up the plastic pack to grade them. Whereas they're actually in better condition if they were opened back in like 2002, 2003, 2004, and then kept in a binder the whole time, because that didn't cause the same kind of damage that the packaging did. So yeah, some pretty cool cards. Honestly, beyond the first few, these aren't that nostalgic for me. I never had any of them when I was young. Copycat is kind of cool as an Ultra, but I think the Retro Pack 1 version looks better, so again, it's kind of like the budget version, I guess. And same with most of the other cards. Nothing is really that high-end. The Exodius is kind of cool. I think it's like $40-50 now near mint. But this one is OC, so I won't be grading it anyways. And yeah, so number 26. Looks like that's the final Jump promo we got. Alright, next up we have, I think this is just like an assorted pile of all sorts of different promos. So first we have some MC1, whole bunch of Exodia heads. I think there was like extras of most of the MC1, and then we have just a single set of MC2 afterwards. All these different old school sleeves. It's kind of fun looking through these. Sometimes when you buy an old collection like this, the sleeves are really dusty and dirty, and it's just kind of like nasty holding them. These ones, the sleeves are old, but they've been kept pretty nice, like dust-free environment, so that they still feel fine to hold. And you just get all this crazy stuff that you don't find anymore. Check out the sleeve foiling on that darn necrophere. So that is the end of MC1. Then we have MC2. Unfortunately, these are all like absolutely pack fresh, or however you want to call it. But they're all off center as well. You can see like top to bottom, left to right. So these are not going to be gradable, but I don't actually think I have any pack fresh MC2 because it's pretty scarce as a product in general. So even if I can't grade these, I'm still happy to have a minty set of them finally. Then this is Forbidden Legacy. We have, okay, so 1 Blue Eyes, 1 Dark Magician, and then I think we have like 5 Karibos or something. Yeah, check that out. Not sure why there's so many more Karibos than the others, but yeah, well, I'll take it. This is the GSC Wildheart, which has the super rare foiling, kind of like the CT1 misprints. But with this, it's on literally every single copy. So I don't know if it was intentional or they just like messed up the whole run. But yeah, either way, this is one of those misprints that people often list for sale, like on eBay or whatever, for a huge price, thinking it's some amazing like mistake that it doesn't have the secret rare foiling. But yeah, it's literally every single copy. Sengenjin. This is actually the WCS version, so pretty cool. I don't think I've had one of these before, so yeah, I mean, it's nothing crazy. I think it might be like $100 now near mint or something like that. But yeah, still cool to see. The Premium Pack 2 Secret Rare is definitely the max rarity in my opinion. both in terms of like difficulty to find and then just also looking better being a secret rare. But this is still a cool promo. Then we have some Elemental Hero Collection. So we have a Bubble Man from number 1, and then I think, yeah, the full set of EHC2. With all of these, that they're like fresh from the product, but unfortunately, the way these were packaged, I don't know if you guys have seen it before, it's like a blister pack, essentially, or a box with a plastic window. And you get the 4 booster packs, and then each of the booster packs has the promo attached to it. But the way they stuck the promo on was literally to put like a piece of glue on the back of the promo and stick it to the pack. So it's just absolutely brutal trying to find them in good condition, because nearly every time when you rip the promo off the pack, you're either going to like bend the card or crease the card, or you're going to rip off a piece of the back because the glue sticks to the pack more than it does to the card. Or even if it comes the other way, you're going to have like this big lump of glue on the back of the card, which is really hard to get off. So it's just a nightmare. Definitely the kind of cards that deserve a pretty big premium in PSA 10, in my opinion. Because they even have centering issues as well, on top of all of the difficulties of just getting them out of the packaging in good condition. So yeah, next up is this is kind of one of those meme cards, I guess. EM1 Machine King. Now, this card, there was a sale, I think, last year, maybe even 2020 now, in PSA 10, and it auctioned for like 1.5k or something crazy. And then everyone was suddenly listing these for like $100, $150. And there was some crazy rumor that there's only 500 of these in the world, or that kind of range number. And so everyone was suddenly thinking it's a super rare promo and going crazy for it. In reality, there's an absolute ton of these. Like, truly, I know individuals who have like 100, 200, 300 copies of this card. It was printed absolutely to oblivion. I think it's kind of cool. I guess it is the max rarity of Machine King, which is a pretty cool monster. But hands down, even paying $10 for this card, in my opinion, is a pretty high price for a raw copy. Because you can find these everywhere, especially in Europe where it was released. And PSA 10, I guess, can be like 100, 150, but I really don't see it sustaining a higher value than that, just because of how common they are. So a few assorted different promos, a couple of extras of Jump. That's the promo you get with the Dark Revelation 4, Light and Darkness Power Pack, Duel Master's Guide, Dark Paladin. Got a few tokens from TKN1. I think these are actually worth a few bucks each. And then these are sneak peek promos. So again, just like all sorts of different awesome stuff. I think this is pretty much the majority of TCG promos from the early years of Yu-Gi-Oh! Just minus the really high end stuff like the DDS 001, 003, FMR, stuff like that. I think there's been some kind of buyout on the SP2 DMG. This is technically the first print of this card, because I think the Jump promo came out a few months later. And in the past, these were always like the same price. But the Jump promo now is still like, I don't know, 15 bucks or something. Whereas this one, I had some problems with the seller making a price, because on TCG Player and other sites as well, there's some listed and even selling for like 50, 60, 70 bucks. So that's pretty overpriced in my opinion, because it's a pretty easy card to find. But yeah, I guess something happened with this, because the price has definitely gone up a lot. Oh yeah, these are cool. These are the deluxe edition promos. So it was, you get the, I think SD1 and SD2, or I'm not sure exactly. You get a couple of the old GX structure decks in this weird box, and it comes with both of these promos secret rare as well. A classic 5-headed dragon ultra. And then, yeah, just the movie pack promos to finish it off. And that's pretty much everything now. We have a sealed Dragon Master Knight that I got as well. Not sure what I'm going to do with this, because it is off-center. So the card looks really minty, but I don't think you can really get a 10 with the centering, so I may just sell it as it is, sealed. And then the final thing we have to go through is a bunch of Gold Series. So it's pretty much a near complete set of Gold Series 1. Unfortunately, it is missing the best cards. So it's missing like the Crush Card Virus, and then also the Dark Magician of Chaos, I think. But it has the rest of the set, including the Skill Drain, which is probably the most valuable card in this deck, just because of how much that one's gone up recently after being unlimited. But yeah, not a lot of value in these cards, except actually graded, because they're insanely hard to grade. I think, I mean, you can see like centering has some crazy issues. They have corner dings and waxing on the back, and just pretty much everything that can go wrong with the card goes wrong with GLT1 Gold Rares. But yeah, the Crush Card Virus actually had a 10 graded for the first time ever recently. So that one's a really cool card. I'm not sure who owns it, but that definitely has a lot of value. So that is, yeah, so that's the end of the actual Gold Series set. Then the rest is just kind of like random extras. So I guess we can flick through them while we're finishing off this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the Mailday. Definitely a lot of cool stuff in here. In terms of value, there's definitely a lot less value than the first collection, or like chunk of collection that I bought off this seller. Like all of these promos combined are probably worth a few $1,000s. I wouldn't say more than that, to be honest. Some of them have some decent value as 10s, but even then it's a lot less than like good first edition set cards that we had last time, like Jinzo, Gemini Elf, stuff like that. So even with grading, I wouldn't honestly expect to make a lot of money on this. It's just cool to own, cool to hold all these nostalgic promos. And yeah, since I'm going to eventually work out more deals with the seller as well, it's kind of one of those things where either way I was happy to buy them off her, because the price was fair enough. Yeah, it's just a fun experience holding this kind of stuff once in a while. So that is it, guys. That is the entire collection Mailday, or double collection Mailday, I guess, because we had the Star Deck Kyber and Yugioh at the beginning. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. For now, this is Schlost, signing out.